Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everybody. It is good to be here with you today. If you're here, make sure to say hi in the comment section. I do see Laura is saying, hello, Seven, I saw you on the channeling. Oh, that's his name. I love him. Kevin Morshow, yes. Hi, Sheila. Sheila's here. Awesome. Great. That's right. Jenny's here. Hi, Jenny. Cool. All right. Well, I am still in Florida this weekend, and this will probably be after this live. I'm going to not be doing lives for a couple weekends, and then when I do it back up again, I'm going to be in another part of the world. So that's going to be fun. It's good to see you guys. It's almost the end of May, almost. Some interesting stuff coming up in June, this whole summer. All right. Damien, good morning. Awesome. Good morning from Queensland, Australia. Amazing. Natalie's here. Hi, Natalie. Oh, yes. Yeah. I actually was started watching some of that session we did together that you did with Seven. So Ralph, hi Ralph. Peter's here. Cool. We actually have 3 people from UK, Jenny, Peter, and Natalie. You guys are all from UK. That's so cool. And we have Damien from Australia. I love it. It's so cool. It's so cool how we get to connect. Hi, Tim. That is Tim. I think you told me. Do I recognize that flag? Yeah, I really love it that we can all be from different parts of the world and connect. But hey, you know what? We connect with cosmic beings, so. From New York City area. Oh, that is so cool. I love New York City. What's happened? It's from New York City. That's a cool name. Awesome. Well, I'll let some more people sort of drift in, and then I'll go take a nap. Carol's here. Hi, Carol. It's so good to see you. Carol, I'm assuming, I know you're from Australia as well, so I'm assuming, yeah, it's probably morning there too. Yeah, good morning. That's right, good morning. It's so cool. From all over the world, all different time zones. Kit Kat from Maine. Very cool. Hi, Kit Kat. Awesome. Well, I hope you guys had an amazing, amazing week. I know it's been pretty nice out here. A chilly morning. Oh, that's right. You guys are also, your seasons are switched as well. You're in the fall right now, about to go into winter in the southern hemisphere. I remember when I lived in Brazil last year, that was really, really fun and kind of interesting having the seasons switched, going from basically winter in Europe to spring and then winter again from the astral plane. Exactly. Well, you know, we are where we are geographically from, but we're also all living in our own sort of dimensions. I know most of us kind of live on a similar dimension. So it's pretty cool. All right. The birds sound amazing this morning. Oh, wow, I bet. This is so beautiful. Hi, Ben. All right. Marlena. Am I reading that correctly? Marlena. That's so pretty. From Canada. Very cool. Hello, hello. A bubble. Yes. All right. All right, everybody. I'm going to go take a nap. I'll see you all in a little bit and get those questions ready. Awesome. Hi, Jade. Excited to, yeah, get those questions ready. Leo from Florida. Awesome. I'm in Florida too. Yeah, a nap. That's kind of what it feels like. sometimes before I go take a nap and they come in, I'm like, wait, can I hang up? But then it's usually better if I get out of the way. All right, everybody. See ya. It is good to be here with all of you today in this very moment. We are very much and very deeply appreciative, not simply of your presence here in this moment, but simply of your presence in this moment and beyond. And today we simply want to bring a message, a simple reminder to so many of you, to all of you that are on this path. All of you who are here in this very moment, at some point or another, have made a choice. You have made a choice to unplug from whatever it is that you have been sort of domesticated into and to find something new, something fresh, something that you know is already a part of you but has been maybe buried underneath the conditioning and the training that you have received in this process of being domesticated into this physical world. And in this journey, you have learned a few things and you have forgotten some things. Some things it is good to forget because you have been trained to learn some things which are not very, very good for your evolution. So many of you, probably most of you, have spent a lot of time sitting in classrooms being taught many things that so many of you did not find very useful. And as you have gone through life, you have looked for ways of being and learning that seem more useful. And now more than ever, as you are witnessing the physical reality around you shift in a very, what feels like massive ways, you are wanting to know more. Not just more information, but you are wanting to know more pieces of the truth. There is a lot of information out there in the world around you that masks itself as truth. And so many humans who have been unable to sort of find a sense of clarity in their lives are grasping for anything that they can. And it is important to remember that in this process of sort of de-domesticating yourself, to maintain a sense of balance, meaning to wake up each morning, understanding that you are maybe still in the grips of the 3D matrix, but you are very much on the way to fully unplugging yourself and lifting up into a new dimension. And so it is very important in this process not to punish yourself and not to punish others either, Because what so many humans are doing, they are noticing things that aren't working in the world around them, and they begin to point fingers because they think in pointing fingers, they are going to get closer to the truth. But all they are doing is sort of multiplying the conditions of the matrix. And the matrix says that there must be a victim and there must be a perpetrator. And in this sort of dichotomous, split off version of reality that so many humans get caught up in, they feel that they are doing something, but in this separateness, all that they are doing is continuing to relive more of their conditioning. And so remember each day, as you are going through your day and you are, as we trust that you have been, taking the time to appreciate all that is and all that you are, that in the moments that you see things that could be improved in you and in others, you aren't necessarily doing so by first and foremost noticing that you or someone else is a victim and then someone else is the perpetrator, and someone must catch that perpetrator and put them in their place. Because there's only so far that the sort of game will take humans, as many humans have noticed. Now, many of you here have already begun to unplug from this version of reality. But we know that temptation is everywhere. And it can be very, very tempting to what you consider the ego mind to grasp on to these sort of separate, dichotomous ways of being. And so in these moments, remember, there's no one to be punished and no one to be rewarded. It is simply about being in the present with who you are, where you are, appreciating what that is. And if you can master that, you have mastered so much of this process of ascension. Because, from our perspective, we see how so many humans attempt with so much force to be in the present moment and to solve problems, but they do not realize that to solve a problem, it is very much about first and foremost recognizing what is without judgment. Recognizing what is without judgment. And this process you can do with yourself. Because as you have noticed, as you are wanting to improve aspects of yourself, it seems somewhat natural to notice the things that aren't working and to sort of say, this isn't working, I don't like it. And that's all right. But as long as you notice that when you witness a part of you that you like to shift and transform, first and foremost, witness it without a judgment. Witness it as it is. And if you'd like to improve on it, it is very simple. It is about how you direct your focus. But if your focus constantly remains on the things that you are critical of and all the problems that you must solve for yourself and others, you'll notice that your energy will dissipate because you're continuing on the conflict. But as you let go and you find a sense of appreciation for who you are, where you are, it does not mean that you are completely letting go of this desire to want to experience something better and greater and a deeper sense of freedom. All it is that you are doing is sort of removing more obstacles out of the way. And the more and more humans that practice this within, the more and more humans who master this way of being, which is truly the only way of being that provides you with all that you need to solve anything that you like around you, then you'll notice that the state of planet Earth will begin to shift. See, it is not something we can do for you. We can bring about guidance as we always have, but it is up to you, because we know that there is great satisfaction, great joy in arriving and experiencing this sense of freedom and well-being and balance and harmony and serenity. All right. So we understand you have come with some questions, and we are Looking forward to conversing with you. All right. I have been told stories of the use of our children for lower vibrational rituals. Is this true or distraction? All right, so you are very much aware that this physical reality of yours has brought forth an expression of different ways of being and living. And we've spoken to you about domestication and how domestication starts when you are very young, because when you are born, you sort of come in with pure energy, all right? You are a pure, free being. You have no fear, all right? But what happens is that a mother who loves her child very much will look upon her child, and instead of seeing a being so pure and so fearless and so full of life, even though she loves this child very dearly, she'll look upon the child and see a sort of very vulnerable child, a very vulnerable being that she must defend and protect from a very dangerous world. And so in this very moment, the mother communicates the fear with the child. And that is one of the first communications that so many children receive. And in that, the child begins to also create their reality. All right. And in the creation of their own reality, they are sort of attracting energies that also see this child in their own projection. All right. But here's what we want you to become aware of. Sometimes humans will focus on the things that they cannot truly see or know if they are true. And they'll sort of simmer in those, and they'll become frustrated because they think, is this really happening? If it is, I'd like to do something about it. But we have spoken with you about this before, and we will speak with you about this many, many times, because this is one of the greatest things that most humans must learn in this physical reality, is that each and every single one of you have come in here to create your own reality. And it is important to maintain a focus on the reality that you are creating. But what happens is, and we have just spoken about this a few moments ago, so many humans will look around and say, yes, but there are so many victims and so many perpetrators. How can I sit back? And the truth is that if you begin to notice within yourself that there's very much this way of sort of using and abusing yourself is already happening within. And when you continue to liberate yourself from this place, you'll begin to notice more clearly what is happening around you. And you'll begin to notice more clearly if there is something that must be done on your part and what that is. All right. But the simple curiosity of what others are doing is just a way for so many humans to distract themselves from their own sort of responsibility, because who wants to talk about responsibility for what they are doing? All right. And it is not about, some humans will say, well, I can't just not do anything about it. It's like you can very much do something about it. All right. When you begin to live in light, truly, because many humans don't know what that means. All right. But when you stop punishing and hurting yourself, and you start punishing and hurting those others around you, and you live in a state of appreciation and well-being, you'll start to feel with more clarity what is happening around you, and where you must direct your focus and where you must not direct your focus. All right. We understand this can be a tricky thing for humans to sort of understand, all right? But so many humans will spend so much time pointing fingers out there, wondering what others are doing, without never truly paying attention to what they are doing and how they are in their own way of being contributing to any sort of what they would consider abuse, all right? So be attentive where you direct your mind, all right? Be attentive to what kind of information you allow to sort of enter into your own dimensions of perception. All right. And ask yourself in this process, why is this information coming in? Why is it important for me to know it? Is it important for me to know it because there's something that I can bring forth? And how can I do that? Or is it simply because I am sort of being a collaborator in whatever it is happening by feeding in a vibration of fear, by feeding in a vibration of scarcity? All right. You know this very much because you have heard this from other humans, that everything sort of begins in the home. All right. And the first home is your own consciousness. All right. Very good. If everything that has and will ever be created already exists, what's the value in humans creating anything? Well, you are always creating, all right? See, there is a nice dance between sort of ideas that you can conceptualize intellectually and the experience. And we want you to focus on experience, all right? And as far as your experience, then the experience of source, all right? Existence is always unfolding infinitely, meaning everything that has been created, but there's so much more to be created. All right? There's so much more ready to be created. Sometimes humans will sort of embrace this kind of nihilistic ideas about existence because they feel a sense of boredom, because they are not fully engaging their own creative powers. But when you begin to fully engage your own creative powers, when you begin to notice the power of your thought and feeling, you start to realize that there is so much joy in creating. And you begin to wonder, well, what else can be created? What else can be manifested? If all the thoughts have been forever thought of, then what kind of thought can I tap into in this very moment? And because of my focus, I can manifest this thought. So how can I and what can I manifest forth in the next moment, and the next moment, and the next moment, and the next moment? And what can that bring forth into this reality? Do not forget that all of you are creators and co-creators, all right? And in this process of creating, you have great power. So many humans forego this power because they haven't really practiced it with intention, meaning you are always creating, but oftentimes most humans just regurgitate. The creation is simply a regurgitation of their past, all right? If you were to decide that as a creator, you were to create each moment brand new, would you be excited by this? Would you want to maybe wonder what it is possible that you can create and tap into? What thought forms are available to you? Reflect on this for a moment and you'll realize that any human who chooses, or any being who chooses to come in and manifest as a human or otherwise, does so precisely for this opportunity to practice thinking and feeling because of its creative power. It is truly a wonderful thing. If more humans were to realize the power that you've got in contributing not just to planet Earth, but to the cosmos, you wouldn't be running around feeling worthless. But so much of the worthlessness that so many humans feel is sort of like an infection that you pass on to each other by this idea that, oh, what's the point of it anyways? Well, we know that if you are sitting here watching this, is because you are understanding to some degree or another the power that you have as a creator, and you are here because you are wanting to understand how you can create a reality that is more fun, that is more expansive, that is more free. All right? See, sometimes humans come to us and they say, well, tell us what will happen in the future. And we say, we do not know the future. You know why? Because we do not want to know what need not be known. All right? And you do not know what the future is because you are creating it in this very moment. But the moment that you make a choice in the direction of what you want to create, You are bringing forth more and more and more and more of the power and the energy of source. All right, very good. Do they believe in Jesus? Just wondering, do they? Meaning they, are you speaking about us? Are you speaking about non-physical? See, you humans must believe in something. And where we come from non-physical, in many ways, we are the belief, meaning we are coming from a place of pure beingness. All right. This is in the same way what Jesus Christ represents to you, a being of pure beingness, a being from source, a being coming from pure unconditional love. All right. So many humans say, do you believe in what we believe? And we say, we do not have a need to believe because we are. Just in the same way, when you leave this physical reality and you come into non-physical, you return into non-physical, you realize that you'll be in pure love, pure beingness. And in that, you won't have this struggle that so many humans have about which God to believe in, which God not to believe in, because you'll see it's all the same. All right, that all the gods that have come forth and have manifested in your physical reality, all the beings that you have called gods, have come forth to remind you of the power of source, of God, of the universe, whatever it is that you want to call it. And when you return into this creative force, sort of leaving behind all that struggle that so many of you feel in physical form, you'll notice the great peace and pure love that is. All right, very good. I find the more I raise my vibration, the more negative challenges come into my life. Why does this happen? Well, because you are simply believing this. Here's something about raising your vibration. It's so many humans think that raising the vibration is going from one positive emotion to the next. But for many humans, raising the vibration is going from one negative emotion to one less negative emotion. All right. What do we mean by this? So if you're starting from a place of fear, raising your vibration simply means going to a place of possibly anger or blame. All right. This is not bad. This is very good because it means that you are truly raising your vibration. All right. And when you are raising this vibration, it's bringing up forth for you more ways to clean up your vibration. As you clean it up a little bit more, you go on to the next emotion. And this next emotion is a little bit less negative as the next emotion, and so on and so forth. All right. So as you are clearing up your vibration, more and more you are noticing that you've got to clean it up a little bit more. But as you truly arrive at a place of well-being, all right, and you truly raise your vibration to a place of inner freedom, then you'll notice that no matter what is happening around you, positive or negative, you are able to maintain your vibration. All right, minus some hiccups. All right, we understand this is not about perfection. But what so many humans do, they are so dependent on the condition that they say, I raised my vibration, but bad things are happening to me. So what, universe? I do not trust you anymore. All right. But the universe, source, God, knows it is not about perfection. It is not about your conditions being perfect. You have truly come to a state of mastery, inner vibrational mastery, when the circumstances shift and change, all right, because you are in a physical environment, but your vibration remains where it is, all right, because sometimes you come in contact with other beings whose vibration might be sort of, they aren't really very much paying attention to it, and you have a sort of running with them. But as you master your own vibration, whatever others are doing doesn't have as much effect on you. You can sort of unplug yourself from it and say, all right, this is what you're doing, but I'll have none of it. So thank you very much. And you're able to move on. But what happens with so many humans, they have so many other negative active vibrations inside of them. And somebody comes along and sort of what you call triggers it. And then off you go. And then you say, well, what's happening here? I raised my vibration. All right, so continue playing with this. Next time you're noticing, okay, I'm raising my vibration, but negative things are happening. Well, in and of itself, you probably already have an active vibration that has this but in it. All right, there's probably a part of you that says, you know, as soon as I raise my vibration, something is going to go wrong. All right. This is a power belief that so many humans have. They say, I put my trust in source, but source betrayed me because I was holding my vibration right. I was asking for all the right things, and then yet this thing happened. It's because you are still dependent on the conditions. All right. Many humans still love very conditionally. All right. And they'll fight. They'll fight so hard in trying to prove that they do not love conditionally, but that's all right. Because so many humans and so many beings truly experience pure unconditional love in non-physical. Now you can experience it in physical. The way that you experience it in physical is by noticing that you are raising your vibration and you are where you are without judgment. And when you are noticing a situation coming about that sort of is not very fun or very good, and you can sort of say, you know what? That's all right. I don't want to partake in this. There's something about this that doesn't feel good because my vibration is up here and I'm not go down there with you. So thanks, but no thanks. But what so many humans do, they sort of rise up. They've got active negative vibrations within them to sort of say, you know what, every time I rise up, something happens. And of course, something happens because as vibrational beings, you're always attracting. All right. And you're always manifesting. All right. So when you are beginning to notice this, see if you can sort of observe what is happening without judgment. Say, you know what? Am I going to maintain my vibration where I am? Or I'm going to let this circumstance sort of drop down my vibration and I'll start all over again. You might have to be doing this for a few times until you notice, you know what? I can't make my sort of well-being dependent on all the circumstances because circumstances are always shifting and changing because I'm a creator and I'm a co-creator and I'm co-creating with everything around me. All right. And not everybody's always on the same page. And that's all right, because one thing I know for sure is my relationship with me that matters, meaning how you maintain and where you maintain your vibration. When you make that number one, no matter what it is that happens around you, you can sort of begin to let it go and say, that's all right. Things happen. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to sort of throw myself off and trip myself over because of it. All right? Very good. I was just wondering, if we are an extension of source and our true self is God or source, then who is the creator? This confuses me. People always say the creator like we are not. All right, so you are very much a part of source, all right, and you are very much a creator. But it is not very difficult to notice from your perspective that there are powerful forces in the works, all right? And we are not speaking about powerful physical forces in your physical environment, meaning authority forces or power sources in your physical environment, all right? We are speaking about cosmic forces, source energy, all right? So in this very way, you are very much a part of source and you are very much a creator of your own reality. But you are also very much a co-creator. You are co-creating the reality with others around you. And in this process, you have noticed that there are powerful, powerful forces that sort of transcend your understanding and even your scope of perception and creation. All right, that is source. All right, so do not worry so much about what others call what. We always speak about experience, and this is what we want you to focus on. Focus on your experience, both as a creator and co-creator, both as a sort of part of source, all right, and a being of source and as source itself. Now, being source itself can be a bit overwhelming for humans. So sometimes you experience this in meditation, because in these moments you are letting go of all resistance, all right, and this you are just in a pure state of beingness, all right. Now, it is not necessary for you to experience this in every single moment of the day, all right? But it is important to become aware of this greater force, because you know what? Then you can cut yourself some slack, all right? Because so many humans feel that, all right, as a creator, I must do everything myself. And we say, that's all right. You can let go of doing everything yourself and leave some of it for source, all right, for this greater creative energy, all right, and trust that it will take care of some of it for you, all right. Focus on this experience, on sort of embracing that you are a part of the whole, and you are also the whole itself, all right? The whole meaning the wholeness of what is, all right? And a lot of your physical experience is a beautiful dance about this. See, so many humans begin an intentional spiritual path because they notice that they are not simply just a physical being. There's something greater to them, the non-physical part of them, all right? And so in these moments of practice, you'll notice that dance, all right, between you, the creator, and you, the co-creator, and you as part of the creator, all right? How can we work through this intense energy? Well, you can work through any intense energy in the many ways that we have spoken with you, which is to, first of all, take a deep breath, all right? Many humans breathe, but they truly forget to truly breathe, all right? You've got to breathe because breath is the way in which spirit enters the physical body, all right? So you've got to breathe deeply every single day, even if you must set some time apart simply for breathing, all right? And you must take the time to be present with oneself, all right? Sometimes it helps humans to sort of recognize that they have a physical body, all right, that there is a physical world around them, while also becoming aware of the non-physical part of them that is sort of aiding you and assisting you, all right? This can be done in meditation. But oftentimes it is simple. You've got to do this practice daily, all right? And part of it is to unplug from this sort of matrix of information that so many humans get bombarded with on a daily basis, all right? Unplug from the news and all this information you are receiving and check in with yourself. Begin to notice what kind of conversations you are having within yourself. Are you supporting yourself? Are you being kind to yourself? Are you arguing in your mind, or are you utilizing your mind to actually think? All right. And you can do this by checking in with how you feel, all right, in the daily. Check in and say, how am I feeling in this very moment? Am I feeling present? Am I feeling a sense of well-being? If you are feeling something negative, do not punish yourself. Simply observe it. Notice that you are not your emotions or your thoughts. They are simply tools that you've got, all right? All right. And so in this process, you'll start to notice that you'll get to know yourself a little bit better, because a lot of the intense energy that so many humans experience is all coming from within. All right. See, there are humans that can be in what you might call a situation of war and chaos and be absolutely grounded. All right. And centered. Why? Because they are willing and able to observe the world out there, but they're also very much willing and able to observe the world within first and foremost. And they know that what is going on in the world within is 100%, 1,000, 1 million, 1 trillion, 1 billion times more important than what is happening out there, all right? But so many humans do not really know how to sort of plug in and check in with themselves. And so they sort of begin to pay attention. They say the energy is so intense. Of course it is so intense, because most humans are not living very intentionally. And when you are not living very intentionally, you sort of go in whichever direction you are being called to. But when you begin to sort of live with intention and to set that intention daily by checking in with yourself, saying, hello, so-and-so, whatever your name is, how are you? What is going on? What are you feeling right now? What are you thinking about? Are these thoughts aiding you? Are they helping you sort of get a clear perspective on what is happening within or without? Or are you sort of just regurgitating some past event? Are you regurgitating some sort of useless information? Are you in a state of appreciation? How often are you in a state of appreciation? All right. How often are you present with yourself and others around you without a sense of judgment, all right? And always trying to attach meaning to what is, but simply there. All right, simply there, sort of wide-eyed and curious. All right. Remember, all of energy first begins within. All right. You are always filtering energy. It is in the same way in which we bring forth energy, and sort of Charlie does her best to filter it in the best way possible. And the more that she sort of gets her ego out of the way, the more that she gets out of the way, she notices the clearer our messages come forth. And this takes trust, all right? Begin to sort of practice this checking in with yourself and being present with yourself on a daily basis. Take the time, all right? Take the time to do it, because so many humans will spend time doing so much. They'll spend time in front of so many screens, but so little time in front of themselves, all right? In front and connected to their inner being. All right. This will aid you greatly in sort of filtering and playing and sort of handling any sort of energy that is coming your way. All right. Very good. All right. Can you help me to understand this universal principle of free will as we operate in dualistic manner in our earthly existence? Which part of our mind? It is very simple. Free will is simply from within. Many humans think it is an outward thing. They say, well, I can't make all 5 trillion choices that are available to me in this physical reality, so it means I do not have free will. What free will means is that you have the free will to choose within yourself what to think and what to feel. Now, so many humans, again, do not feel this because they have not experienced their free will very much. All right. And it is not easy to experience your free will if so much of your life you have been domesticated to think and be like others around you. There's nothing wrong with this. All of you have been through it. All right. It is the point of your awakening and your awareness to become aware in the ways in which you have been domesticated and the ways in which you have sort of let go of your free will to please those around you. Now, here's the tricky part. Some humans will say, well, I'll stop pleasing all those around me and then I'll sort of be free to do whatever it is that I want to do. We are not speaking of free will as action in the outer sense, all right? We are speaking of free will as action in the inner sense. Now, in a lot of ways, you practice free will by sort of just doing whatever it is that you want to do, all right, when you are doing it. But again, it is not about this outer action. It is very much about the choice within. Are you choosing the thoughts in your mind? How many humans can sort of raise their hand and say, yes, I choose the thoughts in my mind? It can seem nearly impossible, we know, but it is the beginning. It is the beginning, all right? And this beginning sort of takes a person who is sort of willing to be very present with themselves and sort of not very swung by the emotions, all right? They're willing to witness their emotions, sort of say, all right, you are giving me a signal. I understand you are giving me a signal. I understand you are giving me a signal. I understand. But I stand here sort of as this free being and I can choose. I can pick and choose what to think and what to feel, all right? This is free will. All right, and it's a tricky thing because so many humans don't necessarily feel their free will, all right, because you are living in a physical environment that feels very limited. We understand this. We understand that choices in the physical sense are always limited, but free will, it is not just about the physical circumstances. It's very much about what you are choosing to feel within. All right, we have used this example before because it is one that affected Charlie very deeply. When she was traveling in one part of the world and she sort of got herself into a tricky situation, and she said, I didn't choose this, but in many ways she did. And anyways, in this circumstance she was in, she witnessed someone from afar, not someone she met personally. And she witnessed them handle a very difficult situation, but she noticed the way in which they handled it. Even though they were not free in the physical sense, they were literally imprisoned. By the way in which they were carrying themselves, the way in which they spoke, and the vibration that they carried, they were very much free within. All right? They were exercising their free will. Now, for many humans, in the outer sense, they would look at that person and say they are an imprisoned person because they are behind bars. But this person was so free within. They had completely liberated themselves, all right? They were practicing choosing their own thoughts and what to feel about this particular situation. It requires great mastery, all right? But any human who has mastered this sort of becomes the guru, all right? A guru in their own right. All right. How can we establish our own channels with the Pleiadians? I'm newly a Reiki healer and seek to establish connection. All right. Well, ask and it is given. All right. It is very much a state of openness. All right. When Charlie began to connect with us, she was quite young, but she sort of didn't very much pay attention because the world around her told her that this was not very normal stuff. All right. And she didn't want to be not normal. She didn't want to be called crazy. All right. So when finally she began to let go of all these different walls, kind of keeping her from this deeper connection, and she started to feel very relaxed and very open, and she began to communicate with us without knowing who we really were. Now, when we communicate with other beings, we do not sort of come in and say, this is who we are, unless that is what you are wanting to know. We are present with you. And whatever it is that you are wanting to know, without even saying words, we will present it to you. But for her, she never communicated even energetically a curiosity about who we were, until she sort of started playing around, and then she began to share some of our messages with others, and others were asking, well, who is it? And she said, well, very good question. I've never asked. And so when she began to ask, we answered. So in the same way, if you're wanting to make a connection, you can simply ask. But the important part is this vibrational state, all right? It is about being in an open state without judgment, without forcing anything, all right? Just like an artist sort of might have an idea of what they are doing, and they might force this idea on the canvas over and over until they sort of say, you know what, I've got to let it go. I've got to spend more time freeing myself from the constraints of what I think it's supposed to be and allowed to be what it is. All right. So you might notice sometimes humans will connect with different non-physical beings, and they'll expect this connection to be in the form of words, and they'll say, I'm not receiving a message. And yet their mind is filled with visions. It is filled with sounds. It is filled with colors. It is filled with symbols. All right. So it is in the same way. If you are wanting to make this connection, simply practice being in an open, free, sort of playful state, all right? We would use the word playful because that's sort of a bit more practical. And as you are in this playful state, allow what comes forth to come forth. Do not judge it, the way in which it comes forth or what it is. Oftentimes, most humans receive the most powerful messages in their dream. You know why? Because in your dreams, your ego is fast asleep, all right? And you very much want that sort of critical aspect of you to be asleep, all right? So begin to pay attention to your dreams as well. See what is coming forth, all right? And the more that you relax and the more that you trust, you'll start to notice that the purer and purer the communication will become, all right? Very good. One more question, all right? The more I journey down this path of awakening, I'm noticing past trauma, flashbacks coming up, causing anxiety attacks. Is this a form of purging? What's the best way to work through this? All right, very good. This is very important because so much of who you are right now is cluttered with events from your past, good or bad, all right? So it makes perfect sense in this process of inner transformation for these things to come up, all right? And we've got a process for this that we will share with you, all right? So it is very natural for these things to come up. And sometimes when we walk others through deeper processes, we will truly invite them to sort of bring up these events that bother them, because we know that they are there and they're going to come up no matter what. So here's one thing important to remember when these things come up. Oftentimes there is a powerful negative meaning that is attached to your experiences, all right, to your negative experiences. And in that, there is this, and we spoke about this in this transmission, about the perpetrator and the victim, all right? And this sets up a sort of very dualistic and very painful, all right, memory for so many humans. So here's the important thing to remember when a memory comes up. It has a powerful charge, and it's important to slowly release this charge. You might have to bring up this memory over and over in quietness, all right? All right, you must be in a safe and sort of quiet space with yourself. Whatever it is that you find comforting in this space, bring it forth. Maybe the light of a candle, all right? And in these moments, it is very important to begin releasing the charge, all right? that this memory brings forth. And the best way to remember this to release this charge is to begin paying attention, all right? And to notice. And the best way to do this is to sort of imagine that you are coming from source's perspective, because sometimes in the memory you might be very close to it and it's very, very strong. So we want you to sort of split away. Imagine you are us, or you are sort of coming from source perspective, all right? And from this perspective, to sort of notice the event that is happening and to realize that every single being in that event was doing the best that they thought was possible in that very moment. All right, we understand this sometimes can be difficult for humans to accept, but this is exactly what happens in each moment. Every being is doing the best that they think is possible in that very moment. And when you notice that, you can sort of begin to release the blame from whatever it is, the anger, the fear, the frustration, and just to see whoever was participating in this dream was sort of part of a sort of multi, all right, generational trauma, all right, and drama. And so as you begin to sort of notice that from the source perspective, all right, begin to breathe through the emotion that comes, all right? Breathe it through and feel that emotion sort of begin to exit your body, all right? And feel it through and breathe it through and feel it release through your body. It's important to breathe through this process, right? You've got to breathe deeply through this process and really allow this emotion to sort of release through and release through and release through. Sometimes humans will notice in the beginning they must forgive, all right? In order to release the energy, the powerful sort of vibrational energy in a memory. But as you begin to notice that whoever was there was doing the best that they could, that they thought was possible in this very moment, in that very moment, you'll know that there's nothing and no one to forgive. And you can simply let go and begin to let go and let go and let go, all right? This is a deep and powerful practice, all right? It is something that the greatest masters had to practice in sort of the darkness of their own spaces until they released the charges of these memories. But it is incredibly freeing, all right? It is incredibly freeing. And you notice that the more and more that you practice this, you'll be able to do it much more quickly, all right? Much more easily, all right? All right. Can you describe what happens to us when we die? All right. Very good. So when a physical being, we do not like this word die very much because it is so serious, all right? What it is that you are sort of moving on to the next adventure, all right? You are leaving behind this physical body, all right? And you're sort of going into non-physical, not sort of, but you are truly going into non-physical. And for many beings, there is a great sense of peace, all right? Because so many beings, specifically human beings, live in a lot of inner turmoil without realizing that they can simply release a lot of this inner noise and be in peace. And so many humans do not experience peace until they sort of cross into non-physical. All right, so as you cross into non-physical, as you begin to experience this peace, there's the part of you that comes into the sort of in-between world. And unlike so many of you who have been thought to believe as this sort of in-between world of hell and heaven, it really is a beautiful place, all right? It is a place where you finally have a bit of a rest. Because what happens next is you continue on to the journey, all right? And for some, the journey is sort of to continue on into non-physical, all right, to lift off into the angelic realms. For others, it is to come back into another physical reality. All right. But the first moment of crossing into non-physical is a deep sense of peace and relief. All right. All right. Very good. We have very much enjoyed connecting with you. I very much appreciate all that you have brought forth, because in all that you bring forth through your questions and your curiosities, it brings forth more wisdom and more messages. All right. And those who are ready will receive. All right. Very good. We are very much appreciative of you, who you are now and who you have always been and will ever be. All right. Very good. Wow. All right. Okay, everybody, welcome back. I need a few seconds. Wow. Oh my goodness. That felt really interesting. Wow. Okay, I'm assuming where I'm scrolling, we didn't get to these questions. Oh, so many questions. Oh my goodness. All right. Okay, everybody. So we got so many questions. So here's the thing. I want to get to a lot more of these questions, and it's not always possible through the YouTube lives. So I'd like to do, I'm going to start a membership soon. I do have a Patreon that I haven't really announced until now, but I do want to do a private group where we can go on Zoom and actually you can get one-on-one with Seven and ask a lot of these questions, all right? And so if you are interested, I'm going to get this link, all right? So give me just a second. Because I think it would be a great opportunity for so many of you to get your questions answered. All right. Okay, hold on. The link is actually on my channel. All right. Guys, give me a second. All right, let's see. Okay, so I just started this, so bear with me, but I'd love to use this group as an opportunity to do these, because also I think when you guys, also, by the way, if you're here, make sure you give it a like, give this a like, all right? Leah says, I found you on oh, cool. The Kevin Moore show. Awesome. That is so cool. Make sure you guys give this a like. Thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe. And yeah, so I want to do these lives where you actually get to go and have a conversation with Seven, because I know sometimes you might ask a question, but it doesn't come out right, or the true meaning doesn't really get interpreted through the writing. And Kevin, that's right. Now Michael Moore kind of rhymes actually. Yeah, Kevin is amazing. What he does is so wonderful. So here's that link. And if you guys want to join, that's where I'm going to start organizing these private lives, one-on-one, and you can actually get on Zoom and truly ask your questions. All right. All right, let's see. Sheila says, we have noticed such a growth of this community and love getting involved there. Thank you so much. Really, thank you so much to Sheila and also Laura, who runs our Facebook group. But Sheila, thank you for moderating these groups. It's amazing. It's priceless. Oh my goodness, so many great questions. Yeah, you guys, there's a Facebook group as well. Thank you, Ralph. That's right. What is the significance of this day May 20th? The release negative patterns are strongly like tons of light. Interesting. Well, here is the important thing to remember, is that Sundays, specifically Sundays based on our sort of calendar, are generally, that's why so many church days are on Sundays, are generally actually very powerful days overall, cosmically, all right, and spiritually, just so you guys know. There is a reason, you know, in the Bible they say, you know, God created and then the seventh day they took a rest. I know for some other sects of that, it's on Saturdays, but the seventh day, Sunday, so are very, very powerful days spiritually, just so you know, FYI. Yeah. So yeah, if there's anything else that you guys want to watch or want answered, you can also leave it in the video comments. I'll do my best during the time that I'm not doing the lives to release some more Q&As. When we did a live here in Florida recently, so I'm going to release the Q&As from that. And hop onto that Patreon. I literally created it and didn't really announce it or anything, but I really would love to do these private Q&As where you guys can get one-on-one. And also, if you want to have a private conversation, like an actual 30-minute or 1-hour session, feel free to email me. We have a website that's up, that's almost fully done. Yeah. Sam Wolf says, welcome back. Thank you. Thank you. Peter says, welcome back. It's good to be back. All right, everybody, I'm going to wrap this up pretty soon here, even though I could hang out with all of you like for a long time, but actually I would love to hang out with all of you and be able to see you face to face. So hop on that Patreon link, or just let me know, because I really want to put these together as a way for us to hang out. So I'm not just the one talking. You can actually go live and we can have conversations. All right. That'd be great. And I will be back with lives probably in 2 weekends somewhere else in the world. It'll be a surprise. And I really appreciate all of you. All right. I really appreciate you guys for being here. It means so, so much. And have a great week. Have a really, really powerful week. All right. And next weekend in the US is Memorial Day weekend. So have a great long weekend. And if you're planning to go camping or do something fun, enjoy it. All right. And yeah, feel free to always message me through email. Here, I'll pull down my email over here, Ascension7 at gmail.com. All right. Love you guys. It's so good to see you. It's so good to see you, Cosmic Fam. Enjoy.